Your calendar may tell you that it's the first week of November, but you wouldn't be able to tell that by taking a look around in my vegetable garden. I'm Kenny Point at VeggieGardeningTips.com, and today I'll give you a brief tour of what's growing in my garden. Let's begin with some things that are ready to be harvested. Here you'll see I have a few beets that are growing in here. A couple of different varieties. These are a golden type of beet, and up in the front there you can see some red leaves beets. But these have been growing since the summer, and they're definitely ready to be harvested, but they can stay out longer if I'd like to. Here's just one big beautiful beet here, and this one, like I said, this is a golden variety, but you can see how that looks, and it's gold inside as well as outside. And this has been growing for maybe 3-4 months, and it's gotten this size, so that's pretty good. In this area I have a variety of plants growing. You can see here with the large leaves, this is Swiss chard. A few different colors. There's some red, golden, white, and right behind it, this is all celery in here. Back behind it in the next bed over here, there's some parsnip plants. They're also ready to be harvested. I can harvest them or they can stay. Sometimes I'll leave them out in the garden right through the winter and dig them as I need to use them. If I leave them all winter, they'll survive and they'll start growing again in the spring, but they should be harvested before they go to seed next year. Right next to that, where you see the straw, that's an area where I've seeded some greens like some lettuces and kale, spinach, things like that. And what I'm doing there is I'm going to let those overwinter. Here's more of an ornamental area of the garden. I'm kind of surrounded by some sages, which give you some nice fall color. Here's a red and this Mexican sage, which has a purple and white flowers. Back behind me, I have my herb garden, and here are a couple of other growing beds that I have. Starting with, this is different greens, kales that I have here, including some mustard. This is Red Giant. And this is one of my favorite mustards. It's very tasty. The leaves grow very large, and it's easy to grow and productive even into the fall. You can even grow it during the summer and spring as well. Regardless of the season, I like to keep my raised beds covered with something, whether it's mulch, but preferably I like to have plants growing. This time of the year, what I do sometimes is I'll put in a cover crop. That'll help protect the soil. It'll also enrich the soil. Here in this bed, I have rye grass that I planted, or rye. And this will grow up. I'll let it continue to grow over the winter. Next spring, I'll either cut it down or just turn it under, and it'll help fertilize the soil and also condition the soil. Here's the cold tunnel that I described in a previous video, but I just wanted to give you a better look at the variety of greens that I have growing in here. There's everything from arugula to kale, mustard, a number of different oriental type greens, and spinach, and broccoli. So there you can grow just about anything, any leafy green in here, and these will continue growing right through the fall. It's early November, but so far the frost has spared the garden. You can see here I have a couple of pepper plants, and they're still growing. There are peppers on them. This is cayenne. I have a sweet pepper there also, and there's even an eggplant next to that. And you can see this one with the variegated leaves. This is an heirloom called fish peppers. I really like these because they're unique. I like the variation in the foliage, and also the fruits themselves are striped and have a number of different colors to them. Here are the last two beds, and these have mainly a variety of different leafy greens. I do have some basil that's still in here, which is another frost sensitive, but you can see it's still growing. Mustards, kales, some collards. You can see the calendula flowers are blooming over there. There's parsnips and lemongrass up there at the end. There's a big clump of lemongrass, and again, that won't survive the cold weather, but all the leafy greens will continue to grow right through the fall and even return again next spring. So that's another advantage of growing in the fall. You get a head start on your spring season, because these plants, they'll stop growing, but they won't die, and in the springtime they'll grow as soon as the spring starts.